Hey, what's up? This is Scott with Level Up Tuts, and today we're going to be talking about loops in JavaScript. And why might you use a loop? Well, so we have this array here, and I'm actually going to just remove it so it's just numbers 1 through 5, just like this. And this array, it just contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What happens if we wanted to output every single item in this array? You know, we could say, we learned last time that you use this bracket notation to pick out an item with its index out of an array. And so we could say 1, 2, or 0, 1, 2, 3. We could go on like this, and eventually, let's refresh our page here. You could see it console logging all of these items. Well, we just wrote 4 lines and got back 4 measly characters. So that really doesn't seem efficient because, really the whole point of computer programming in general is to take things that are complex and make them simpler using the computer's language that will do things for you, right? So this isn't doing anything for us. We're doing this all ourselves. So what is a way that we can go through this array and print out every single item to the console? Well, the answer lies within loops. And the first loop we're going to show you is just the for loop. So to do this loop, we're going to say for, and then parentheses, and inside parentheses, we're going to first need to define some sort of counting variable. And because we're using, we're going to be outputting items from this array with an index starting at 0 so we can get the first one, it makes sense for our counter to be 0. So the way we define this is just var I equals 0 and then semicolon. Now keep in mind that this variable name, we're using I here. That's just because it's pretty standard for what people use, but you can definitely use whatever you want. I would probably just use I in most situations unless it makes more sense to use something else, but if you see this, it's just a convention. Now, the next parameter we need in here is going to be basically the statement that keeps this thing running. So we want to say, as long as I is less than, and then we want it to be less than the total length of this list. So as long as I is less than the length of this list, then keep going. So the list is 5 items long, right? The array here. So we could say if I is less than 5, then keep going. But what happens if we were to then modify this and say here like this? This would break our app, and then we'd have to change here and here to actually get this working. A better way to do this is to pull the length directly from the list itself. And we can do that with the length object property. So we can say mylist.length, and that's actually going to give us the length. Will be 5 or 6 or depending however many items we have in this array. And so now we can say this loop is going to keep on running as long as I is less than my list.length. And then for the last thing we need to do, we need to say what happens every iteration of this loop. And now we want to increase I by 1 every single loop. So every single time this loops around, I is going to advance by 1. Now inside of here, we're going to console log, and inside of our parentheses, we want to output my list. But this time, inside of the brackets, we can just use our I variable. And this I variable is going to be the index at every single point through this loop. So basically our code's going to hit this, it's going to define my list, and then it's going to hit this loop, and it's going to say, okay, I is equal to 0. Is I less than my list.length? Yes. All right, now go through and console log my list with an index of 0. Done. Now add 1 to I. Okay, is I less than my length? Yes. Now console log my list with an index of 1. Okay, now add another one. And it's going to keep on doing that until this property right here is satisfied and saying that this is no longer correct. So let's come to our page here, refresh, and you'll notice it's console logging 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like we expected. And now check this out. We can say, you know, anything, we add anything to our list, refresh, and it's always going to output this entire list. So loops are extremely powerful. You're going to use them a lot, and there's lots of different types of loops. So we're going to go over another type of loop in the next video, and it's going to be the while loop, and you're going to see the power of that, and then you can experiment with them. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment in the video or hit us up at Twitter at LevelUpTuts. We're also on Facebook. We're all over the place. Come to our website, check it out, and let us know what you think. This is Scott Tolinski with the Level Up Tuts, and thanks for watching. Bye.